welcome back. So, how did I do yesterday talking about the past 2 days? Hopefully I did okay. Didn't say anything weird or bad. And I don't think anything's gonna come out of Saturday other than just like another positive friend lunch experience, but that's all it's supposed to be. So am I looking forward to it? That's tough to say. Why would I ask myself that question? How do you run again? And that's not it. There we go. What do I do? Okay, I gotta go that way. Oh, but you gotta watch the centripetal motion. Go. This kiss. You have 50 seconds. Go. Make a run for it. Go. What am I doing now? Oop, look out. And go. That's alright. Okay, what was I going to talk about today, though? Twin Flames. I got into this podcast, and I listened to it. There's 6 episodes, and they're like a half an hour each, and I listened to them for an entire day at work. And I never really get into podcasts like that, but I was like, oh, this is interesting. It was called Twin Flames. It's a cult. I'm always super interested by cults because I'm like, well, what's the difference between a cult and Christianity? It's not much. And it kind of scares me sometimes when I listen to cult stuff, because I'm like, they do exactly what some Christians do. But like, being a Christian is just accepted, and being a cult is like, ooh, that's bad. I mean, the leader of Twin Flames did say he was Jesus, so like, it was pretty funny. He's like, people say like, oh, why are all the images of Jesus like this white guy with a beard? Jesus wasn't like that. And he was saying, oh, those pictures are actually of me. They were drawing me. I'm a white guy with a beard. Isn't it obvious? They were like prophesying me. They weren't making pictures of actual Jesus. And that's the point where you gotta go, oh boy. Okay, he thinks he's Jesus. Now we can leave. This is not what we thought it was. So the idea of twin flames there's a lot of, this guy he takes stuff from like Christianity and stuff from like Hindu and Asian religions and like chakras and Reiki and stuff. And he's like, in your life there's a twin flame, which is your significant other, your soulmate, but you're actually one consciousness. You're one person separated, and you have to find your twin flame. And no matter what the other person says, you gotta get him. I don't understand that people, certainty, okay? Never have certainty about anything. You're so sure that this other person is your twin flame. That's the problem. How do you know? How do you know that they're your soulmate? Is it a feeling? Feelings are stupid. They can be wrong all the time. Is it... So what this guy does is he's like, oh yeah, that's your twin flame. God told me it was your twin flame. So even if he gets a restraining order against you, you have to keep pursuing him, even if you go to jail. And like, they made this narrative that like, the more he pushes away, the more you know it's really your twin flame. Like, oh, isn't that convenient? Like, if he gets a restraining order against you, that means it really is him. That's proof. That's proof. That's proof that he hates you. And he never wants to see you again. But these people, I mean, it's not their fault, I guess. I've never been in that position where, like, I loved somebody so much, and I'm like, they're my soulmate, and they're just like, no, I don't like you. You're gross. And then you go to somebody, and they're like, no, they're your twin flame. Like, you have to be with them, no matter what. Then I would be like, oh, thank you for telling me what I want to hear. That's what I wanted to hear. So that guy, I mean, he's got mental problems too. So like, we're all just, I don't know. He thinks he's Jesus. Okay, he's not doing okay in his head area. So it's, I mean, it's just like, I say that just because like it's hard to judge, but like to take advantage of those people is pretty gross. Who are like, I just want to be with my soulmate. And he's like, you go get him. And the podcast is really interesting because they had audio clips of his like counseling sessions with people. And he was very aggressive. I'm like, why did people listen to this guy? He's like so mean. Why would Jesus be that mean? He's like cursing and he's like, I don't even want to say, it's like a very, I don't know, that's one of the words that I won't say. It's very derogatory. It's the P word. He called people the P word. He's like, you gotta man up. And I mean, it was the interesting thing is like it was mostly women coming to him and being like, they never talked about the men who came to him. And there was this whole thing. It was a good podcast. You should just listen to it. About one of the major points of the story is like this girl, Angie, comes to them and is like, oh, I want my twin flame. And okay, they're like, at a certain point in their, okay, wait, what is going on here? They're like, oh, there's this thing called, like, you're a woman biologically, but spiritually, you're a man. So the reason why you can't be with your twin flame is because you're acting like a woman when you should be acting like your spiritual manly self. And so they kind of force her to be a man, and she doesn't really want to, but she's like, okay, if it means like meeting my twin flame, I'll do whatever. Yeah, cults are so interesting to me. I wish I could remember like some of the specific language he used because it was very Christian. Like, oh, I've heard that before. I've heard Christians say that exact same thing. That's scary. What was the thing that always is the worst? Like, if anybody tells this to you, don't believe them. Ever. I know what God wants for you. If anybody ever says that they know what God wants for you, don't believe them. Because if God's gonna tell anybody, he's gonna tell me. Why is he gonna tell you? If I don't know what God wants for me, then you don't know what God wants for me. It's such a way, like, and sometimes they don't even, the people who do that, they're not trying to manipulate you. Some of them are. Because it's like, well, you're going to argue with God? But some people are just like, they're trying to help you, and they're like, oh, I think God wants this for you, and you can't. You have to do, like, you know your life better than anybody else, and it's good to get advice from people from outside perspectives, but you have to do, like, as long as you're not hurting anybody, just do what you do, and don't let anybody tell you what God wants for you, because that's what they were doing. This guy was acting like, oh, I'm connected to God because we have this harmonious twin flame. He's like, oh, me and my wife have a super twin flame. So our super twin flame means that we can have like a communion with God and know like who other people's twin flames are. I think that was the idea. Because our marriage is so great, and I was watching their videos, and I'm like, this guy doesn't let her talk. Their marriage isn't that great. I only watched a couple of their videos, because they have videos on YouTube. I forget what it's called. It's like Jeff and Sheila Twin Flame or something. And this guy, I'm like, first of all, I'm like, because I'm like trying to meet people, I'm like, how could anybody like this guy? He's so cold and like hyper emotionless about love. When he talks about love, he's like so dead in his eyes. He's so not passionless, because he has a lot of passion, but there's no humanity to it. It's a very weird, I mean, I've seen people who look like that before, with just like no humanity and just like cold, calculating passion. It's weird, because you'd think you need passion to be like in love and to be a human, but he's like, he seems like a weird, like a human robot hybrid. Like a robot that's programmed for passion or something. I don't know how to explain it. Just like watch one of his videos. And like his wife doesn't really talk that much. And once in a while she'll talk, and he'll be like, he'll either like aggressively disagree, but he'll also like aggressively agree with her. And that's like, ugh, that feels gross, this guy. It just feels like he has control over her in a weird way. That just feels gross. Like, obviously she's her she's her own person, and she's like, she's, I don't know, it's her choice to be with this guy, and she wants to, she loves him. But I'm like, why? Why do you like this guy? He's so weird. I'm jealous, I guess. I'm just jealous. Not a joke. Whoa, what was that? I don't know, I guess I could talk about twin flames all day. Let's talk more about the cultish aspect of it. Well, one thing that scared me, like, this isn't even religious, but he was saying things like things that I've said here that always scares me. Like when terrible people say the same things that I say. He was saying like, I want to meet somebody who like makes me the best version of myself, and like who makes me grow into a better person, and someone I want to be the best version of myself. I want to be the perfect version of myself. I've said that. I want to be like, why waste your time just being boring? Why not try to be weird and interesting? That's what that guy's doing. So maybe I should stop doing that. I mean, I know I'm not as intense as him. I'm like, oh, whatever. It's certainty. If you get one thing out of this video, don't be certain about anything. I don't know. You love your wife, okay, you could be certain about that, but don't be certain about what God thinks. I don't know, specifically when it comes to that, like what God thinks about you and your life. You don't know. You don't know. You're never gonna know. And like, that's frustrating, but it's the truth. We all want to know. I guess to some extent we know, like, okay, like, be good. We all feel that, like, be good. But when it comes to, like, oh, you have to change your gender to find your twin flame, and God told me. Okay, how do you know that? Okay? Now we need to get specific here. Like, we're not just talking about vague stuff. You want me to become a man? Okay, tell me how you know that. God told you is not good enough. It's frustrating. I just feel bad. At least that lady got out of that cult. But they're still making YouTube videos. And people still follow these guys. It's just sad, because it's like we're all looking for something, and these people think they found it. Finally. And to an extent, like, if you really commit to it, you might have a happy life. I don't know. I mean, I would never be able to commit to something like that, but if I could, 100%. Like, I've been watching this girl on YouTube. Once in a while I get these videos up, it's like, oh, I'm an ex-Christian. And she was saying, like, Jesus was my best friend. When my dad was abusing me, Jesus comforted me. Like, really, he really honestly did. That's not fake. Maybe Jesus isn't real and it was all in your head, but still, that comfort was 100% real. Without Jesus, she wouldn't have had it. So, like, if you can commit, that's why I've always been like, if I could give myself a mind seal, like in the 3-body problem, and really 100% just brainwash myself to believe this, would I have a better life? Would I enjoy my life? Like, who cares if it's like ignorance is bliss? Yes, it's bliss. Bliss is bliss. We can't ignore bliss. Like, that's what we're all looking for anyway, isn't it? Ooh. I like playing on easy, it's fun. You just shoot these guys and you never die. Ooh. I'm gonna be fine. I'm gonna be just, ooh, fine. There's a part coming up that's super annoying where you have to, ooh. You have to shoot these rocks in space on this, like, big machine. Like this big, like, this big cannon thing. It's impossible. It's so hard. You'll know it when you see it. I don't think it's this part, but it reminded me of this. Is that it for the D? Yeah. Oh wow, I went way over talking about my twin flame. I have to meet my twin flame. So I don't know. It was a very interesting podcast. You should listen to it. I kind of wanted. It got me interested, like, more in cult stuff. Like, I want to start looking into cult stuff. And it obviously it makes me feel good about myself because, like, I'm not susceptible to that. I'll never be in a cult. Well, you're a Christian, but, like, I'm not a cultish Christian where I'm like, ooh, Jesus is I don't know, whatever. My pastor is Jesus, and he told me that I have to kill my neighbor to fulfill the prophecy or whatever. But Jesus said, love your neighbor. But if you kill him, he'll go to heaven. Isn't that love? Oh my gosh. Yeah, I mean, that's what they do. They just don't ever be certain. When it comes to religion, don't ever be certain about anything. There's no certainty in religion. Just, I feel like, well, I don't know, like love, but even that can be twisted. It's hard to live that way without certainty, because you want to know what you're supposed to do and who you're supposed to love and who you're supposed to hate. But there is no certainty. Sorry. So, see you tomorrow. Bye.